We're chatting with Lennox Armstrong. He is the founder, owner of Canine Care. And this man knows how to properly walk a dog or two or three. So you belong to a professional organization of pet sitters. You want to give a shout out to them?
Absolutely. It's the National Association of Professional Pet Sitters. The acronym is NAPS.
Which I always laugh because I'm thinking, are we taking a dog nap? But no, it isn't. But you're also on the board, aren't you? It's an all volunteer organization.
It is. It's a volunteer or not-for-profit organization. So yes, I'm a volunteer and I'm a director.
And what's the best thing how long have you been with NAPS, and what's a takeaway you can share to encourage other pet sitters, dog walkers to get into a professional organization like NAPS?
1998 was when I joined, and I wish I had known about it sooner. You know, when I started, NAPS has been around since 1989, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just didn't know. Like back then in 1992, it was Yellow Pages to find anybody.
Oh my gosh!
So it took me a few years.
Millennials, look up Yellow Pages. They
right. It was like this thick. You could use it as a pillow.
Yes.
And but anybody who's in a profession that involves, taking care of a dog or a cat or a pet or anything of that nature, it only makes sense to be a member of an organization, professional industry organization such as NAPS. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you ask me.
So with your group Canine Care, how many professional dog walkers do you have? And let's talk about, I was going on your site, and we do want to make sure everybody knows how to reach you. It is caninecare spelled out.com, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what's your army of walkers? What do you got?
And the army of walkers, currently we're at 9 employees, a manager who sometimes fills in with dog walking, and then 8 of those are dog walkers. So.
Okay. And I know you've got stuff like you have small group walks, you do some off-leash time with dogs in safe environments. You have something called truffling and man trailing. Okay, come on, explain these.
Truffling kind of goes on a regular basis. Truffling comes from, dogs who search for truffles in the ground.
Right.
And so it's not literally truffles that we're searching for. It's just
it could be duck poop.
It could be. So it kind of goes to the sniffing around, letting a dog, sniff around and find things. And the man trailing is kind of the same. It's just that they're looking for people. So it might, this happens either naturally or artificially. So it can happen naturally when a dog just is looking for something. And I love finding out what they're looking for.
Okay.
It might be a person, a man, or a dog, or a piece of pizza.
So what are the signals they're giving you that they're man trailing?
You can just see the wheels turning. They start sniffing. They get that crinkle in the nose, and you can see that they're using their schnoz for figuring what was here and where did it go and how can I find it. So it's really just a matter of tuning in and being observant and watching them.
I don't know if Suki does this, but when they're dreaming, they're moving their paws. What's some place that your dog loves to go? And I'm sure you do variety.
Gosh, there's so many places. I can't think of like one that floats her boat more than anything else. It's just it's kind of like everywhere. There's some exceptions. She sometimes gets a little bit overwhelmed in the city when the Cubs game gets let out and there's a flood of people. So
I would too. They finally win. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah. So, she loves going to her friend's house and the various friends that she has. And so.
Well, do you take her to dog parks? Is there a park you like to go, or is there a place that may be next to a dog bakery? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out some specifics.
Yeah, sure. No, I don't go to dog parks, the public off-leash dog parks. I find that it's can be a bit too stressful for. So yeah, I mean, just going for a walk. I mean, just going out our front door and walking around the neighborhood. I mean, she, as long as the temperature's just right.
Yeah.
Because If it's too cold, I got to bundle her up, and she's okay with that as long as I suit her up. But there's a point at which it's too cold here in Chicago. So as long as the environmental conditions are good, she loves just going for a walk. Just wherever we go. It's not like.
Well, what's your mind state when you're going for a walk with your dog? You got to say some endorphins are kicking in.
Yeah, one of the things, and this kind of goes back to your initial question about there was equipment, but there's the speed at which we walk.
Yeah,
we really have to be careful. What I see is a lot of people walking at a speed at which the dogs are having to keep up with.
Okay, good. So check your pace, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And so our legs are typically longer than our dogs. So what I see are a lot of dogs that are trotting or jogging to keep up, or they're trotting ahead as people walk quickly behind them, but they're still just sort of running so the duration of the walk is really important. There is a too much, there's a too long, there's a point at which they get exhausted and tired.
What would be a signal? What would you be looking at?
And I got this handy little book here, Arden. I'm glad you asked that question. It's a book written by this person, Tirid Rugas, talking.
Go ahead and say for our radio listeners what.
Yeah, I know you can't all see this. So on talking terms with dogs, calming signals.
Tirid
Rugas, Rugaas. She's a Norwegian dog trainer. She's 86 years old. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to out her on age.
She's an ageless wonder.
I don't think she would mind. And so anyway, this book helps me with everything. So it's what it is. It's the silent body language of dogs. And so by learning and understanding the silent body language of dogs, I'm able to tell, how they're doing. And so, but it's basically just paying attention to a dog and just knowing at what point are they done.
Yeah. I mean, don't put the earbuds in. Don't be talking on your phone. Come on, right? Yeah, I just think yesterday was a crazy day for me, but I made sure I had 30 minutes to go for a walk with Kona and Emma for all of our sanity. Doesn't that help you too?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with keep the earbuds out, the headphones off, tune into your pet, to your dog, and just be paying attention to how they're doing and it's for me too. I enjoy the walk more so that way, but I need to be able to hear and I need to be able to see what's going on and pay attention to how my dog is doing. And we just have a couple minutes left. Do you have some good tips for when it would be a good time to walk more than one dog, and how do you size up the pack to make sure and not get the leashes tangled? Yeah, sure. So I typically walk a dog one-on-one to begin with, to get to know the dog. Mm-hmm. If there's two dogs in the family, I might start by walking the two of them because they already know each other. Mm-hmm. I personally, and as a company, draw a line at 3, no more than 3 as a company for sure. And I played around with the numbers, and sometimes 4 is okay, but sometimes it's 1 too many. It really just depends. It depends on the dog and the day, where you go and what you're doing. So we walk in small groups. We start with one dog and one dog walker to get to know the dog. Okay. And then we have another dog walker with another dog to come together and we might do what's called parallel walking.
Okay, good.
Whether it's literally parallel or just from behind or in front, but sort of keeping maybe distance. So there's various ways that we might have another handler. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes we do that to introduce the dogs and let them come together. Maybe not the first time, but maybe after a few times.
Now, if they're starting to work okay, and you have 3 dogs, I only have 2 hands. What do you suggest?
Well, it's a little bit of it's like braiding, right? an unbraiding. It's just a little bit of leash management. One gets used to it, and it's 2 or 3 leashes. It's not we do not walk in a pack of 20. So it's not going to be 20 leashes that are, we're talking about 2 or 3 leaches, and so it's.
Do you ever recommend a
I don't.
belt?
A belt.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't.
Why is that?
Because I need my hands to manage the leashes. I want to keep a loose leash. why do I need my hands free? What am I doing with my hands anyway? So I need to switch hands maybe. And so, yeah, I find those to be not basically useless. I don't use them.
What parting message could you give somebody on why we should try, weather permitting, to walk our dog at least once a day?
It's important for them to get out. And, so as long as it's comfortable and they're safe and they are in a space where they can use their mind, they get cabin fever eventually.
Yeah.
So it engages their mind and their physicality to get out and enjoy the world. So
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And how do people find out more about you and your company? We're talking with Lennox Armstrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my website is caninecare.com. I'm on Facebook. Those are kind of the two channels that I'm currently most on.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content.